Hello, welcome to Early Morning Barking, talking about BPD and MPD by somebody who has both. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and there's some socially things scrolling past in the corner here where you can follow me and share stuff and awesome stuff like that. Thank you for those who do. I really appreciate it. So today we actually get onto our last BPD marker. This is chronic feelings of emptiness. So get ready for a rock and rolling fun joyride of happy stuff. Yeah, chronic feelings of emptiness. It's a fun thing to deal with, isn't it? It sounds like it means what it means. Obviously, you're not physically empty. That would be weird. This is an emotional void that you live in, right? It makes it impossible to derive joy and happiness from anything. It's just complete emotional emptiness, almost like a numbness, just not feeling anything, or even worse, feeling sad. I got into a point with it where, and this is what I always referred to as my blanket of sadness, right? I can just wrap myself up in this and sit and just feel pain for a bit. And this can come on at any time without any warning. I can be at a party or at a nightclub dancing or off my head on something, or just driving along or watching a movie and laughing, and then no, you feel sad now. And then it just washes over you and you retreat within yourself and feel this emptiness and this fear and this despair and all of this sort of missing stuff from the human experience. Am I making any sense at all? Listening to music you like and getting nothing from it, watching a movie that's funny and not laughing, all of this, just being numb or down and beaten. And I think this is the feeling that pushes a lot of people to think about suicide, because it's heavy. It's not just like a blanket. It's one of those heavy sleep blankets that's meant to be heavy and make you feel weighed down. It's tiring. It wears you out. I'm getting sort of worn out just thinking about it, because it feels heavy. And it can wrap you up in itself so easily. As time's gone on, I've learned to deal with it somewhat. It still tries to come from time to time. And I still have days where nothing's really very good. However, if I can identify that I'm doing it, and I'm getting so much better at that, by the way, because it's actually a fairly easy one to spot, and because it's quiet and introvertive, I don't know if that's the right word to use in that way, or if that's even a word. It's all internal, right? It's not like getting angry and losing your shit, which is very external. You can, if you've retreated within yourself, you know you've done it, right? You can catch yourself thinking about it. And I have started to find it just as easy to snap out of it as I find it to get into it in the first place. Touch wood. That's sort of a daily battle. I feel like, I'm on a average over time, I'm doing pretty well with a swimming fish. I'm doing pretty well. And it's better now than it was, but it's not gone. And maybe it will be gone. I don't know if it's one of those things that ever will. I remember this being a feeling from childhood, just feeling empty. And it feeds into, what do you want? What do you like? I don't know. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I like. Nothing. I'm not looking at things and thinking, oh, I want that or whatever. Some things I do, some things in particular are more likely to elicit an emotional, I want that decision sort of response from me than others. And it can be very infuriating for people who have to spend time with me that I can't decide what I want because there's nothing that I want. Ah, it outwardly, this gives an impression of complacency and not caring. All of these things get bundled up into it because that's how you look. You've got no answer to what do you want because you don't want anything because everything's shit and you don't feel anything for anything. So what does it matter? It might as well just be presented to you on a plate because it doesn't make any difference. And it makes us look, like I say, complacent, uncaring, like you just don't care. And it must be infuriating for the people who have to deal with this. It's one of those. I don't have a magical solution to make you care about things or feel it because it's not a lack of care, is it? It's not like a well thought out. I don't like that. It's just that I don't like anything. And again, it's not necessarily I hate everything. It's just I don't like anything. Nothing's making me happy. And that's a very difficult day to day to deal with. I'm aware that I'm rambling a little bit, and I hope it actually comes across what a tricky and convoluted thing this is. That it just sounds like chronic feelings of emptiness, right? You feel sad, you feel a bit numb, you feel, what do you feel? And it's actually, there's a lot more to it, that it affects so many other things. I am rambling now and I've kind of lost a train of thought because I'm getting caught up in it. And I can sort of, it's quite weird that you can just talking about it, you sort of, you can feel it. And it's a memory, it's a very clear memory of what it feels like. And the truth is I'm not down. I'm not numb because nothing has happened in my life that hadn't happened 9 minutes ago. But you can just work yourself into a mindset. And if you sort of if you're left to your own devices, that's when I find it the worst. When I'm not engaged, I can just stumble and trip into it. That's why I like gaming so much. It can just focus me on a task. It doesn't matter what the task is, just on a task. But again, you can start to notice when that task becomes repetitive and doesn't engage your brains too much, it wanders and drifts. And it can happen even when you're just talking. And I'm aware that I'm also getting, I don't know, maybe from a professional standpoint, if I were one and really knew what I was talking about, maybe it would be wrong to group the sadness with the emptiness. But for me, they're part and parcel of the same thing. So talking about my own experience, that's how I feel that. There is, it's like the BPD creates a vacuum with that's what else is emptiness? It is a vacuum. And then you're going to fill it with something. And because you catastrophize and you think the worst and you fear people leaving you and abandonment and all these other things, all of this stuff just gets piled into this hole and fills it up. And I don't know. There are so many metaphors I can give you for what it feels like. It's a hole full of garbage. It's a sack full of shit you've got to cart around with you all the time. It's this, it's that. It's just, I think you get the feeling of what I'm saying. And it becomes a state you put yourself in. Did for me. I'm very cautious to say anything about what it will feel like for you. There's a million different ways it might feel different for you. This is just that, you know, I can walk up to an edge of it and jump in if I want. And I can sit and just drain all positive emotion from my brain if I decide I want to do that. Which is fucked up. What a power. I could act crying within a few minutes. And then you can sort of realize what you're doing. And you can laugh at yourself. And you can say, you're doing it again, Rich. You're doing it again. Come on. There's no need. You've got nothing to be sad about. Pack it in. Which would be massively abusive if I was saying it to you. But I'm not. I'm saying it exclusively to me. I don't know if it's something you want to say to yourself. I talk about being kind to yourself because you're the only one that can be guaranteed to do that, really, that can promise to do that. That's a bollocks thing to say, actually. Like, you're not guaranteed to be nice to yourself. You just should be. Talking for me. But I can give myself that a bit more brusque encouragement. Come on. You can sort this. I don't need coddling all the time. And sometimes a bit of a push helps. And you can say, you know, get your shit together, Rich. Nothing happened. Couple of deep breaths. And you can get it back. Because it's fucking bollocks. There's nothing there. It's not real sadness. It's not real emptiness. You might have things that are dragging you down in your life, things that you wish were different. This isn't attached to those. Not entirely. Maybe some of it is. Maybe you worry about things and that can be the thing that trips you up over the edge. But I find this total general generic feeling of emptiness, of sadness, of bullshit, it's tied to nothing. It's tied to a habit of feeling sad, of feeling empty. And you know you're doing it. So, come on, Rich. Get on with it. Don't need to feel like that for no reason. There's plenty of things to feel sad about in life. Feeling sad, feeling bad because something sad has happened is fine. Nobody's saying that you should never experience a negative emotion in your life. Shit happens to people. You have stuff to feel sad about with all the validity in the world. But reserve your sadness for those times. Easier said than done. I know. Yeah, just do that, right? Again, that's like saying just stop it. But I'm going to try and do it. I have to try and not be sad just because I'm used to feeling sad. Can I get used to feeling happy? You can change a habit, can't you? You can do the opposite. You can retrain yourself, whatever it is. So maybe that's doable. I hope so. It's one I have to just wish you good luck with. I'm still working on it myself. You know, I'm no expert. But it's heavy. Don't be afraid I will, the one thing to leave you with is, if you're feeling this, if you're at a low, if you honestly feel like numb, make steps to be in company of people. See somebody, spend time with anybody, just be with people. And, people to have a conversation with. Try and distract yourself. Try and find something to do with your brain, because it's freewheeling just off on its own, and it never does anything good on its own. It never does anything good on its own. So don't let it go off on its own. Do a puzzle. Watch movies. I find not focusing enough. And, it needs to be something that can grab my attention. And I'm not going to have my attention grabbed by a movie that I know grabs my attention because I've seen it so much. And you can't guarantee that a new movie is going to do that. So I actually, honestly, puzzles, games, that kind of thing, engage your brain. And don't be on your own. But ask yourself, why do I feel bad? What's making me feel empty? What would fill it up? What do I like? And work from there. I don't know. I only have suggestions. There's no answers from me. I'm sorry, but I don't know. I don't know if you're looking for answers or just to hear what it is that I'm going through, and maybe to hear that somebody else is going through the same thing as you. In which case, we're all solid together. That's fine. I wish I could just sit here and go, well, what you want to do is this. But it's never that easy. Right. You take care. I'll see you later. Bye.